Life before Adam was not boring, but rather frighteningly regular. I was Leena, an engineer small for her ambition, living with a logical caution that limited the mistakes of the heart. I thought I controlled my destiny until love taught me that destiny controls all of us. Our meeting was in the autumn, specifically at the Forgotten Corner bookstore. I was trying to grasp complex organic chemistry equations, and he was sitting across from me, sketching rapid drawings in his notebook, drawing as if escaping from something. I watched him from behind my book. His movements carried a weight disproportionate to his youth. He didn't possess the allure of the arrogant, but the captivating appeal of the tormented artist. I asked myself, what burden does this man carry on his shoulders to draw with such sorrow? And why do I suddenly feel that his silence is more comforting than all the noise around me? I broke the silence with a silly question about the color of his pen's ink. He looked at me and smiled. That smile was the first crack in my logical wall. He said, "The color of my ink? It's gray. The color of the world, when you look at it truthfully." I replied, "And is all this truthfulness painful to the extent that your eyes hold this sorrow?" He answered, "My eyes are sad because they see much that I cannot change. You, on the contrary, your eyes tell a story yet to be written. A story filled with both warmth and fear. What is it that you fear, Leena?" I told him I feared making a mistake and becoming shallow one day. He responded, "Mistake is the most honest part of our lives. As for shallowness, impossible. Your soul is very deep, and I love the depths of your soul that reject superficiality. I don't draw to beautify the world. I draw to understand why it is so ugly. But when I looked at you, I felt the world might bear some light colors too." In a matter of weeks, we became inseparable. He didn't send me roses, but old, forgotten poems that spoke of separation and loneliness, as if preparing me for what was to come. After 3 months, Adam represented all the certainty in my life. I canceled all appointments and neglected all my commitments to be with him. We spent our nights wandering the city's deserted streets after midnight. His old car was our sanctuary. He would hold my hand under the steering wheel, and the warmth of his hand was enough to dispel the winter cold. He spoke about spiritual sustainability. He told me one night while we were gazing at the stars, "Leena, I never believed in forever. But with you, I started to fear that forever won't be enough. I don't promise you marriage tomorrow, but I promise you something more precious." I asked him, "And what is more precious than commitment?" He squeezed her hand tightly and said, "I promise you absolute safety, that my heart will remain the safe haven for your heart, no matter what happens. I will be the wall you collapse behind, but I will never be the cause of your collapse. This is not just a word, this is the creed I will live by for your sake. Do you trust me?" It was then he gifted me that rare red rose. It was a deep crimson color. He said it was the symbol of our love, strong, pure, and unfading. That rose was the signature to his promise, and it was the same rose that later became the symbol of his silent betrayal. The changes in Adam's behavior began about 7 months into our relationship. It wasn't just physical withdrawal, but a psychological and spiritual one. His eyes, which used to be my mirror, now held dark labyrinths. His calls would suddenly drop. His messages acquired an aroma of mystery. He would disappear for long hours, and when he returned, his scent was a mixture of cigarette smoke and medical disinfectants. I blamed myself. Was I no longer enough? But my heart screamed, true love cannot die this quickly. When I asked him why he disappeared, he would say, "Leena, you don't understand. There's an old family debt that I must fulfill. Something I can't explain now, but trust me, it's temporary and will end." I sometimes heard him talking on the phone in a very low voice, his tone a mix of loyalty and despair. I told him, "Adam, please talk to me. What is this family debt you must fulfill? Is it money? I will help you. Is it someone threatening you? Tell me, I'm with you." He replied in a desperate voice, "Leena, it's too complicated. It's bigger than you and me. It's something I can't back out of without destroying 2 families. Trust me, please. Just be patient. The word, "I love you," at that moment didn't grant me salvation. It was a new constraint. A woman doesn't need solid proof to discover betrayal. It's enough to notice a change in his voice or the disappearance of the sparkle in his eye. I searched, not because I lacked trust, but because I feared madness. Once, he left his laptop open to old photo files. It wasn't my intention to spy, but my hand guided me to a folder with an old title, Memories of Loyalty. I opened the folder and saw the picture. Her name was Ruba. She stood beside him in a formal frame, smiling a faint smile, and he had his hand on her shoulder with a sense of responsibility. The biggest shock, the background. The same dim lamppost, the same angle of the rain-soaked street, the exact place of his promise of absolute safety to me. I realized that my entire love was merely a lie adorned with words. I had been the intruder, the trespasser, on an old promise. How could he divide his soul this way? I felt trampled. I had to confront him, not with a fit of rage, but with the coldness of stillness. I chose a dark cafe for the confrontation. I placed the photo in front of him on the table and let it speak for me. Adham looked at the picture, and his features shifted from calm to screaming despair. He realized the game was over. I told him with a chilling calmness. "Who is Ruba, Adham? Don't tell me an old friend. Tell me the truth that made me live as a shadow in your dual life." He confessed. She is my wife. A traditional marriage that took place before I knew the meaning of love. She is my cousin, and she is very sick with a fatal illness. I promised her father before he died that I would remain her support until the end. This is not love, it's duty, Leena. Duty before I found you. I laughed bitterly. Duty. Does duty require lying to me for a whole year? Does duty require you to look at me honestly and tell me, "You are my safety," when you know your life belongs to another woman? You didn't break her heart by leaving, but you destroyed my soul by staying. He tried to justify. Believe me, I was going to find a way, but her illness deteriorated. She can't do without me now. I am imprisoned, Leena, trapped between what I must do and what I desperately want. You are all I want, but I cannot fail the weak. I replied. And what about me? Don't you see me as weak? Didn't you fear failing and destroying me? You are a weak man, Adham. Weak in the face of duty, weak in the face of truth, and you weren't brave enough to tell me. This isn't love. This is manipulation. At that moment, it was no longer about him, but about the concept of trust. What is the value of building a relationship on foundations of illusion? I realized that this love was conditional, divided, and wrapped in guilt. True love must be absolute, free of secrecy. I told him, "You are not a bad man, Adham. You are just a weak man in the face of duty. But you made me doubt every moment of joy we shared. Loyalty is not staying next to someone you don't love for fear of disgrace. True loyalty is being honest with every heart that put its trust in you. I cannot live as a shadow in a man's life. I deserve to be the priority. I deserve to be the only choice." He pleaded with me. "Don't leave, Leena. Give me time. I swear to you, I will come back to you. My heart belongs to you." I answered. "A heart that swears allegiance to more than one person is a torn heart, Adham. And I cannot build my future on the ruins of a torn heart. Go and fulfill your promise to your wife. And I will go to fulfill my promise to myself. I will never be the cause of my own sadness." I decided the farewell would be surgical, without screaming, without return. That was the last night I heard his voice. He called me in a final attempt. I was walking under heavy rain and the cold was seeping into my bones. I told him on the phone, "Adham, this is our last conversation. Don't explain, don't apologize. I forgive you for the lie, but I will not forgive myself for the trust one placed in a mirage. You didn't lose me. You chose not to possess me. When you gifted me that rose, you thought it was a symbol of our love, but it was a symbol of my departure. Withered roses are not watered twice. Goodbye, my beautiful scar." I hung up. I turned off the phone. I deleted every trace of him. The purpose of the deletion was not to forget, but to strip the memory of its poison. That was the hardest night of my life, the night I lost both my love and my trust in destiny. The following months were filled with a glaring emptiness. I lived like a body without a soul, trying to breathe under the weight of loss. Every corner of my life reminded me of promises unfulfilled. I woke up every morning and asked myself, how do I complete my day? The pain was like a splinter. In every movement, it reminded me that I was deceived. But I decided to stop this decline. I didn't look for a lover to forget him. I looked for myself. Scars don't disappear, but they can become a lesson. I enrolled in painting courses. I turned the black and gray colors Adham painted in my life into bright colors on canvas. Every brushstroke was an expulsion of a piece of the pain. My first painting was a red rose, but it wasn't perfect. It was distorted and broken, but it was honest. I traveled to distant mountains. I learned to find safety in my own company. Recovery is not forgetting the past, but the ability to remember it without letting it kill me. After a full year, I had built a solid wall around my heart. I was sitting in a public park, reading a book, enjoying my newly discovered peace. I saw him approaching me. He looked tired and sad, as if he hadn't slept for 2 years. He held a rare red rose in his hand, an identical copy of the first rose. He called out to me in a weak voice. "Leena?" I replied. "Hello, Adham." He sighed deeply, then spoke his painful words. "Leena, I'm sorry. I came to tell you, Ruba is gone. Quietly, 2 months ago. I fulfilled the promise, Leena. I fulfilled my promise to her until the last breath. And now, I realized too late that I lost my soul on the path of loyalty. I love you." He wanted me to return. He wanted me to be his prize after his duty ended. But I was no longer the naive girl who waited. I looked into his eyes. I didn't find anger, but pity. I looked at the red rose, then at his eyes. My eyes were filled with a peace he never knew. I didn't take the rose. I told him in a voice ringing with resolve, "Adham, I cannot take this rose. This rose has become a symbol of our sorrow, not our love. You are my beautiful rose, but you are not my destiny. The rose you gave me withered a year ago, and in its place, a strong tree has grown that I planted myself. I don't need you to live. I live by my decision and my own strength." I stood up from my seat. I left him sitting alone, holding the rose abandoned on the bench. I said my last word as I walked confidently away. "I wish you peace, Adham, and I wish myself all the love I deserve." I did not return, because love that begins with a break cannot be built on ruins. I returned to myself, where true peace resides. In the end, Adham left me only a memory and a withered rose and a scar on my heart, but he left me the most important thing, the strength to start again, without fearing anything, because I became my entire story and its sole author.